Can you tell us what it was like growing up in China?
I think it was fun with my family, like all of my grandparents and are together. It was fun. So
Give us a daily routine when you were at home with your grandparents growing up.
like my grandfather has to work, so my grandma has to take care of me and my sister. And when we were in school, my grandfather always picked me and my sister up from school after his work. And when we get home, my grandma will get dinner ready. So we ate together, and after dinner, we will always watch televisions and have a simple conversation about our daily life. So that's it. That's every day.
Could you tell us how you ended up in Agape Asia?
It was kind of scary. Like when I was in 4th grade in elementary school, and I was in the class, and there is a couple guys came to my class, and looking for me, and my teacher just let me go with them, and I don't even know who are they. My teacher don't know either, so they put me in their car and asked me us to your home. I said okay, and we came to my home together, and my grandma asked me who are they. I said I don't know them. They just asked me to take them to our home. I did, and then they start to introduce them. They said they from Agape Asia, and they're here to help us. So that's how I know Agape Asia.
So you gave us the introduction of how you got into it, but how was it like being a part of it?
I think I'm lucky. So I don't really know how they find me, but they just came each month and bought me some school supplies like textbook, school uniform, and sometimes they bought me clothes like backpack, rice for home. So they came each month, and every time they come, they bring me photos and letters from my support family. So like it's kind of like that each month.
What do you remember most from all of this? Like, is there a defining moment that you remember very distinctively, like that's so clear in your head?
Yes, like when I was in elementary school, like kids like are so mean. We're from the same village, so we kind of know each other pretty well. They know that I don't have parents. They always laugh at me, and like one day, they said they were talking about like parent stuff, and I never joined them about that kind of conversation. So they just say like you don't have parents, something stuff like that. And like few days later, the guy who worked for Agape Asia came and bring me a photo of Hesslen's family. And then the other day they said I don't have parents. I took the picture out of my backpack, showed them this is my parents. So that's the moment I still can remember right now. Yeah.
How do you feel like Agape Asia could help other kids?
I think they helped a lot of kids like me who are abandoned by their parents, or they lost their parents. As far as I know, they have few care centers in China. Like, they put the kids who don't have family together in that care center. They pay them for school and provide a kind of home for them. So, yeah, I think they're doing pretty good.
All right. Tell us about the first time you saw Hope's picture.
Oh, so I guess it would be the first report that we got from Agape Asia. And I guess the first report that we got was her in the little winter coat. But the one that I remember the most is of her 6th birthday. And the reason why I remember it so well is because she never had a birthday cake before. And so we have pictures of her going to the bakery to pick out her cake. And then it's in July, so it was really hot, and I can tell in the picture obviously that it's really hot, but her smile was just so big. And it was a picture of her and her sister, and there was also a bike. So I'm not real sure if we bought you the bike. Yes. Okay, because there was a lot lost in translation, and we were just mainly looking at pictures trying to kind of decipher what was going on. But that's the report that stood out to me the most.
Tell us about how you got drawn to Agape Asia. Was it seeing Hope's picture and that's what brought you in, or did someone else talk to you about it?
Yeah, so when we signed up to sponsor a child through Agape Asia, we actually didn't know who we were going to get. So the backstory on that is in 2004, we had our 4th child, and I found out at 16 weeks in utero that he had a fatal birth defect and most likely wouldn't survive after birth. And so his name was Gabriel. And after we lost Gabriel in June, of course, our family was just devastated. And we really had been looking and praying for a way to give back to another child. And Ron and Pat Brown came to our church and talked about, I think, this fairly new foundation at the time, Agape Asia. And so it was a Sunday night, and Kevin and I both just, said, hey, we want to do this. And so told them that night that we wanted to sponsor a child. And it was shortly after that we were paired with Hope and started receiving monthly interaction with them, monthly reports, basically. That's what we got.
What kind of needs did you see your sponsorship meeting with Hope?
Well, I think especially at first when Hope was little, and we would see that they would bring cooking oil and rice and the school supplies, I knew that she was able to continue her education, which I know what little bit I know about China. The more education that she could receive, the better life that she would have. And so that was really important, that she be able to continue education. And especially when we would get the reports, it would always comment on what a good student she was. And so we wanted to continue that support and increase that support as we could, because we wanted her to have the opportunity to go to high school, which I know a lot of children in China don't have that opportunity to do so. So she was gifted academically, and we wanted her to be able to continue that. I knew that she was getting basic needs, so that if she wasn't hungry, she could study. If her tummy was full, then she would be a better student. She would be able to focus longer, and she would be able to push herself more. And I also knew that it was helping her grandparents and her sister as well. So it made us feel good with not much of it was a lot for us, especially at the time, but just knowing that it was just a small amount made a huge difference in her life.
Okay, I wanted you to tell us the story about, we'll start with Christy, about how it started, that you found out that you were actually going to be able to meet this girl.
Yeah, so Jeff just said that they were going to be looking at Christian colleges, and they were taking a little road trip over spring break, and would we be available and willing to meet Hope? And of course we said absolutely, we'll meet you wherever. So you guys were already at the restaurant.
Yeah.
And Kevin and Hunter and I drove up to Little Rock and met them for lunch. And I was so nervous to meet you. I was hoping that you'd like us. It would have been terrible if you didn't like us. But it was just like, she's our kid. So it was just like holding your baby in the hospital for the first time. We saw her. We always thought that we, prayed that we'd get to meet her, but we thought we'd have to go to China to see her. So we were really excited and thankful to get to meet her.
Hope, what do you remember about Jeff saying we're going to go meet the Hesslens?
A little bit nervous and happy. Yeah, and I don't know, it's just kind of like when you haven't seen your family for a long time, 5 or 6 years, like you finally get a chance to see them. It's kind of like that feeling. But I never met them before, only from the pictures. But I mean, when they came into the restaurant, I mean, there is a lot of people in the restaurant. But when they come, I know, yeah, that's my parents there. Yeah, I just know it. It just can't. I can't say it.
I'm Christy Hesslen,
I'm Li Chen Yang.
and together we are
Agape Asia.